My name is Lieutenant Jason Redman, and I've had the distinct honor of served over 20 years with the U.S. Navy SEAL teams. The majority of people who walk this earth have never wrestled with an enemy combatant in the deep blackness of night. They have never waded through the fog of war or the chaos of combat. The majority of people who walk this earth sleep peacefully in their beds at night because brave men are willing to endure the clash of steel and the sting of battle for the nobility of freedom. I, along with thousands of other American warriors, are one of these men. And on September 13, 2007, I was the assault force commander for a time-sensitive mission to go after a high-value al-Qaeda leader. As is common on the battlefield, the thick, stifling fog of war quickly rolled in, and my team and I were caught in a deadly, well-executed ambush. In the ensuing 35-minute firefight, I, along with two other members of my team, were severely wounded. If it wasn't for the multiple danger close fire missions that were brought in that fateful night by an Air Force AC-130 gunship, I would not be here today to tell this story. Thanks to their precision targeting and my teammates' tenacity and courage, it enabled us to overcome and eliminate all enemy forces. It is a testament to the unshakable resolve of my teammates and the American spirit that will never be conquered. During the firefight, I was hit twice in the arm with at least 5 more rounds striking my helmet, shooting off one of my night vision tubes, striking my body armor, and hitting my weapon. I was able to keep fighting and directing until another bullet struck me in the face, knocking me out. Caught in the open, while the firefight continued to rage over me, I lay flat on my back, helplessly watching the rounds travel over me, patiently waiting for my teammates to win the fight and bring in the medevac, while my life slowly drained out of me and my world faded to black. Since that night, I've undergone 37 surgeries. I've had 6 blood transfusions. I had a tracheotomy that I wore for 7 months and 2 days. I've had approximately 1,500 stitches, 200 staples, 5 plates, 1 titanium orbital floor, 15 screws, 8 pins, 20 skin grafts, 3 bone grafts. I've had my jaw broken, shattered, broken, and rebroken 3 times. I had my jaw wired shut for over 12 weeks. I lost over 50 pounds. I've spent approximately 190 hours in surgery under anesthesia. Despite all that I have been through, it made me realize some critical things about life. I realized the mark of a man is not found in his past, but how he overcomes adversity and builds his future. And regardless of the overwhelming odds or opposition in your path, you always have the opportunity to overcome. It is your attitude that will affect the outcome. Since that night, I know that I was granted a second chance. And I now speak on behalf of service, sacrifice, and heroism. I speak on behalf of my fallen brothers, America's fallen sons and daughters, our fallen loved ones. They embodied the greatness in every man that is rarely acted upon and even less rarely ever seen. Because at the highest level, every man and woman who has ever made the ultimate sacrifice recognized one simple fact. Freedom is not a right. It must be fostered, nurtured, preserved, and in the darkest times, it must be fought for. These warrior poets recognized that freedom is a gift. They knew it was worth falling for, even while others took it for granted. They knew that the fight for freedom provided others with a true hope of opportunity, a glimmer of freedom that shines through the darkest night, a spotlight that burns out of the deepest hell. And it is in those moments, like a radiant sunrise bursting the horizon, you see the greatness in man and it validates that the sacrifice of my warrior brothers, of America's sons and daughters, that the scars that I and thousands more carry are worth it. They are worth it for my children and your children and our children's children. And despite the pain that comes with war, we recognize it is to preserve the best America has yet to offer. I now strive to show all Americans that it is up to all of us to preserve and nurture the future of our nation and to never forget the sacrifice of all those who have fought, bled, and died to make it what it is. This is the true cost of freedom and the eternal vision of America. Ronald Reagan once captured this vision when he said, "America is a city on a hill, a shining beacon to the world." I like to think of that as a flame or a torch on top of that hill, a lighthouse for the entire world to see. Because you see, for over 240 years, the torch of American freedom has burned. It has been seen all around the world. Warriors have carried it with them, crossing the beaches of Normandy, on Iwo Jima, Korea, and in the jungles of Vietnam. It has been held high in Grenada, Panama, Bosnia, and all across the Middle East. When a warrior falls and his flame is extinguished, every American's torch back home burns just a little brighter. Brave men and women continuously are willing to sacrifice themselves to ensure that flame will never go out. Every American citizen in the United States is entrusted with a small part of this flame. Many Americans feed their flame and ensure it burns brightly for all to see, always showing their patriotism, voting, upholding our republic, and looking for ways to support our country through getting an education, volunteering, pursuing the American dream, or charitable contributions. Other Americans, they take it for granted, squandering their opportunities, and they allow their flames to burn out. Thankfully, there are those of us who wear the uniform, who are entrusted with an oath and presented at the start of our military careers with a part of the flame to keep the torch of American freedom always burning. Over 7 years ago, I lay on the battlefield in a remote land, pouring my blood into the soil. I looked up and I saw the dark angel standing over me, and he motioned. It was time to go. And for a second, a split second, I thought he was right. But then I realized I wasn't finished. I had kids to raise to be honorable Americans. I had a wife to come home to love and support as she has always supported me. And I had a torch of American freedom to preserve and forever keep burning. So just as my world faded to black, I stood up, I walked 75 yards to the medevac helicopter, and I came home. And I vowed once again that I would never allow that flame to burn out while I still hold breath. And I hope that everyone in this room this morning will do exactly the same in recognition of the sacrifice that made America what it is today. 7 years ago, I brought my torch of freedom back from Iraq. It continues to burn brightly, fueled by the tinder that feeds the flame of freedom. Honor, courage, sacrifice, and service. It burns as an eternal reminder of the hundreds of thousands who have bled and died so that all of us may live free. Those of you here today who call yourself veterans, who bear the physical and mental scars of sacrifice, can now hold this flame high as a blazing torch for all Americans, to never give up on their hopes and dreams, to never forget their gift of freedom, the sacrifice that has made us who we are, and the sacrifice that will enable us to become who we will be. And now, we can pass this torch on to all our fellow Americans, and we can look them in the eye and ask them, what are you going to do with yours?